times in your world are changing, and there are what you would call in your world dangerous times approaching. The most important thing is for the masses not to become fearful, because if the masses become fearful, then this energy will permeate your world. It will transfer to the dangerous situations and will enliven them. It will make them possess more energy, because the danger is also fear driven. So if it is then inculcated with more fear from the masses, then it will become its own entity. At the moment, it is not its own entity. It is being driven by others who see the situation as a fearful situation. So this means that the energy belongs to the individuals, which in fact is a small group. So this fear belongs to them. And so therefore it is not its own entity yet. But when the masses become fearful, and when that energy, the fearful energy, reaches this situation, then it will have its own energy and become an entity unto itself. Once it is an entity unto itself, then it will be very difficult to rid your planet of this entity. So it does not mean it is impossible to rid it, but what it means is that you will have a much more difficult job, because where you may have the masses easily turning to fear, because the people that are currently driving this fear are powerful and have the voice, if you like. They have the voice of power, they have the voice of communication with your media, with your computers. But to change that, so it is very easy for them to get this message of fear out to people. But the people that will wish to change this energy from fear to one of hope and joy and love, they will not be in the same powerful situation. So it will be a much more difficult job. They will be maligned, they will be criticized, just as these sorts of people are today. You call them environmentalists, you call them greenies, you call them troublemakers, you call them do-gooders, but these people are the ones that will in fact rid the planet of these negative energies that are being created by the few who have the power. Why do these few who have the power create these energies? They do it through fear. They think that they are doing it for to help the masses, to protect and to provide. The cynical people look at these people and say they are self-interested, and they are doing it because they wish to make money, they wish to be in control of the world. And yes, there is this aspect as well. But really, they do all of this through fear. They fear that they will not have the power. They fear that their way of life will be taken away from them. They fear that they will not be able to provide, even though they are in positions where they are supposed to provide. And if they cannot provide, then they will be toppled, and then they will have no power, and then their way of life will be changed. So there is self-interest, but there is also the feeling that they are responsible. This is the message that we wish to bring today. The message in summary, is fear breeds fear. The fear is already there, but it belongs to human beings. Once that fear is joined, then an entity of fear will be created. Once the entity is created, it is unto itself, and this means that it will be very difficult to overcome. Once this entity of fear is created, this will cause many long-term problems, but also long and drawn out situations. For example, the most common example for humans is war. But there are other things that go on during war which in fact may be worse. So, the fear must not be allowed to wrap itself around the hearts of the masses. Firstly, simple is not how we would express who you are. Put this message onto the internet. Put it where, in many places as you can. Send it to as many people who are like-minded. Because even if, by like-minded we mean that have sites that promote the same sorts of energies that you do, channeling energies, conspiracy theory energies, all of these sorts of energies, send it to all of these people. But also, send it to people, friends that you know. It doesn't matter if they think you are crazy. It doesn't matter if they feel that they do not wish to be bothered by this. The fact is that they will have heard it. And then they have the choice. When that fear knocks at their door, they have the choice to say, I remember that Brad and Caroline sent me this message. This is when they have the choice. Do they take the fear and wrap it around their heart, or do they reject it? The simple act of rejection in this situation will weaken the entity of fear. It does not mean that the person has to reflect love or happiness or hope or joy back. It just means the simple rejection will weaken. Because this is a message of hope. This is not a message of fear. We are not saying, be fearful because this is what is going to happen. We are saying, acknowledge that if you are fearful, this is what will happen. So this is the other option. Reject it. Reject that fear. It does not mean that you have to protest. It does not mean that you have to take to the streets and be angry about what has happened. This is not what we are saying, because it is an energetic thing. It is merely saying, we will not accept your fear. If you do this on your own. You do not do this in our name. You do not do this for us. You do not do this with our fear. You do this on your own. This is your thing. You do it. We are not, as the people, as the masses, as the mass energy of this world, we are not supporting this. Does not mean that you support what is happening in the countries or the places that this attack or situation is occurring against. It just means that you do not wish for this to become something that you cannot control.